Well, I'm a Bronx boy. I was born in the South Bronx at a time where I was a rock and roller, but I saw my neighbors taking out old stereo equipment and making stuff on turntables, and I saw the world change a few times. Um, my dad's dream was for me to be a scientist. Um, my dream, not so much, but somewhere in between his dream and my dream, I became very, very comfortable very early with tools.
Hmm.
And I don't really like to fetishize about tools, but I was always interested in what's next. And so computers were becoming very, very powerful in ways that hadn't been originally anticipated. And so I found myself not only playing my Fender Stratocaster electric guitar, but playing with some pretty early personal computers, even before the IBM PCs and stuff, things that Texas Instruments would make, or I was very, very fond of Atari early PC computers, and I learned how to write a little very basic 8-bit code, and I started making what would now be called raves, but we didn't have that term for quite a while afterwards. I was very, very influenced by the art of the 60s, including the psychedelic light shows that would happen at rock concerts. And I tried to imagine how can I do that electronically? So I really, my first gigs were actually in still photography, and then originally becoming a photomuralist, working for very historical projects with Richard Avedon, Francesco Scavullo, Hero, posthumous collections of Philip Halsman and Ansel Adams, but migrated as quickly as I can. And there was never a design or a plan. I would just stumble into the next step. And found video was really going to answer a lot of my questions because I made music, video had sound, I made pictures, video had pictures, plus they moved. So I got hooked. And I was all in. I was living in New York in the photography industry, and more and more would get gigs doing these projection events, these early rave type things here in LA. And one day I just stopped commuting and I just stayed here. And I'm a straight guy. I'm a cisgender white old dude. But I joined forces with a bunch of young gay men in West Hollywood who were experimenting with video. And together, a thing called EZTV was created, not to be confused with the illegal BitTorrent of the same name. I have to say that because there literally been times I've been in the middle of a lecture and some blowhard in the audience will scream out, "I just Googled you, you're being sued." And I said, no, that's not us. So we're the older Easy TV, much more about independent video, experimenting with what videos can do. And then in my case, really getting interested in what computers can do. And so I not only made work, but I also curated work pretty early and got very, very interested early on in what we would now consider the networked world. So there were things that used to be around called BBSs, electronic bulletin boards, and very simple modems would hook up and people would send text back and forth. And we're talking very early 80s at this point. And we did our first international internet event. It wasn't called, the World Wide Web didn't even exist yet, in 1987, where we hooked up West Hollywood with Sri Lanka to science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke. And we started experimenting with a lot of people, and a lot of very visionary people got really interested in what was happening. So everyone from the great beatnik poet Allen Ginsberg to people reinventing how Daffy Duck got done at Warner Brothers, to the legendary Dr. Timothy Leary, to punk rockers, to virtually every local computer artist came through our doors and collaborated. And it became this family that in some cases, among us still alive, there are people I've been collaborating with now for over 40 years.